All right, thank you all for being here tonight. If we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, just a little bit of housekeeping real quick. For those of you on Zoom right now, if you could please mute your microphone. And also for those in attendance, if you need a restroom, we have the ladies' restroom over here, the men's restroom back in the corner. When we do public comment towards the end, everyone will have to come up to the microphone just so that it's recorded. If you do speak from the audience, it doesn't pick it up in the video or audio recording, and our Zoom representatives can't hear you. We do have a couple representatives from Cower Cycle on the Zoom, and so I just want to make sure that they hear what you have to say. Okay? I'm going to introduce Mr. David Davis. He's with MSW Consulting, and he's going to lead us through our presentation tonight.
All right, thank you. As Kim said, my name is David Davis. I'm the founder and president of MSW Consultants. We're a solid waste consulting firm located in the city of Murrieta in Riverside County. We provide solid waste consulting services to local governments in the areas of finance, public policy, and economics. Our services include rate studies, financial analysis, hauler audits, compliance assistance to cities, and contract negotiation and procurement. We only work for local governments. We don't work for private trash companies, and we do this to avoid any potential conflicts of interest. As just kind of an overview of tonight's presentation, we're going to be just introducing who's here. We're going to talk about some proposed rates and cost analysis, which is new information since the last meeting that we had. We're going to talk about the state's recycling regulations and enforcement methodology. We're going to talk about some trends in the solid waste industry that are kind of augmenting this whole situation. And we're going to talk about the solid waste landscape in San Bernardino County, provide an overview of the CR&R agreement, and then finally come back to the proposed changes in the system and expected costs. So by show of hands, can I see how many people either attended the last meeting or watched it online? So probably about a third to a half of the people here tonight. All right. So by way of introduction, we've also got Brent Spears from CR&R, and then on the phone we also have Karen Morgan, the branch chief of the Local Assistance and Market Development Department of Cower Cycle, and also Melissa Vargas, supervisor at Cower Cycle, are on the line. So we want to start out with some new information that has been developed since the last meeting. So as you may know, the district will take over the billing from CR&R in July, and then also the services that are provided by CR&R are going to change pretty significantly. Right now, CR&R provides collection service for 2 65-gallon containers once a week. And in order to comply with the state's new recycling laws, that service is going to increase to a total of 3 carts. So there'll be 1 cart for trash, 1 cart for recycling, and 1 cart for organics. And so what's going to happen is the amount of service that standard people get now, or a standard level of service, is the 2 carts of 64 gallons. It's about 128 gallons of volume is collected every week. Starting July 1st with 3 carts, the amount of volume is going to go to 192 gallons of service. It's those 3 carts at 64 gallons. So if people want, and this is an important point, if people want to keep 2 trash carts, they're going to have to pay for that extra cart, which is $7.01. But you probably won't need to, because the amount of recyclables that you put in the trash right now will go in your recycle cart and your organics cart. And that's going to start July 1st. Now, the district and CR&R, and the prices that's going to happen is right now everybody pays $30.98 for those 2 carts. And that price is going to stay the same on July 1st. So for the same price that you're paying now, you're going to get that three-card system of trash and organic and recyclables. And for those people that have a 2-yard bin, right now they're paying $96.46 for just trash. And that rate is going to increase to $121.20. And in addition to the 2-yard trash, those customers are all going to be provided with a 64-gallon recycle cart and a 64-gallon organics cart. And that's to comply with the new state law. The rate for extra carts is going to stay at $7.01. So CRNR and the district are kind of in a catch-22 situation. So about 60% of the people subscribe to CRNR service right now. And on July 1st, the district is going to implement a mandatory service, its mandatory service ordinance, but people are still going to be able to self-haul. But the district and CRNR don't know exactly how many people are going to continue providing or subscribing to CRNR service. So CRNR's operating costs entail a high degree of fixed costs. So the more people that participate, the lower the cost per unit. So if the number of people that subscribe to CRNR service, if it goes from 60 to 80%, that would reflect a certain cost per unit for CRNR. So if the rates are negotiated based on an 80% participation rate and the participation rate actually went to 90% or 95%, then the rates that were set based on 80% would be too high. Does that make sense? So, and if the rate's set on 80% and only say 62 or 65% of the people participate, then CRNR, their costs will be higher than they expected. So there's a certain amount of risk that both the CRNR and the district are taking. And what we're doing is to kind of mitigate that risk is CRNR has agreed to implement this new service to incur these new costs at the same price and see how many people participate in the service. And then based on the amount of participation that actually occurs over that 12 months starting July 1st of 2023, towards the end of that period, the district and CRNR are going to get together and they're going to do a cost of service analysis and they're going to see how many people participated and what CRNR's actual costs are. And then based on that cost of service analysis, they're going to set rates that will start probably July 1st of 2024. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the key solid waste laws that the district is required to comply with. And these are basically four. There's AB 339, AB 341, AB 1826, and SB 1383. These are the four main solid waste recycling laws in the state. And there's kind of a progression here. So AB 939 dates back to 1989, and it's been in place for a long time. And that is, there's a 50% diversion goal, and this is why most jurisdictions you see have a 3-cart collection system. And in 2012, the state started AB 341, and what this law does is it requires all commercial businesses to recycle. And then a couple of years later, in 2016, they implemented AB 1826 that requires commercial businesses to recycle their organics. But the thing about these two laws, AB 341 and 1826, although they did require businesses to recycle, there was no enforcement mechanism. So a lot of businesses are not recycling as a result of these laws. So what the state did in about 2016 is they passed a law called SB 1383. And this law went into effect January of 2022, and it's a very, very significant change in solid waste regulations. And there's kind of two things that it is requiring consumers and jurisdictions to do, and that is, one is to keep organic waste out of the landfill, and then also reduce the amount of edible food that would otherwise be thrown away and keep that out of the landfill. So, and the reason for this is when organic material is buried in a landfill and deprived of oxygen, over time it decomposes and emits methane, and the state's trying to reduce the amount of methane that's going into the atmosphere. So there's basically 6 parts of SB 1383. The first part is jurisdictions are required to provide an organics collection service. And it's important to know that when we talk about organics, we do talk about food waste and green waste, but we're also talking about cardboard and paper, which are also organic, and those are typically included in the recycling container. It also requires jurisdictions to establish and monitor edible food recovery programs. Jurisdictions are required to conduct additional outreach and education. Jurisdictions are required to procure products with recovered organic materials, and they're also required to secure access to organics processing capacity. And then finally, they're required to monitor compliance and conduct enforcement. And enforcement from Cal Recycle basically includes a process. So every 4 years, Cal Recycle will conduct a compliance evaluation of every jurisdiction in the state. And based on that compliance evaluation, if the jurisdiction is doing everything it's supposed to be doing, if it has a complete implementation record and it can document that it's meeting these 6 areas of SB 1383, then they're good to go for another 4 years. If they're not, they'll be issued a notice of violation, and that's something that if that can be cleared up within 90 days, then they can do that. But if they can't clear it up in 90 days, then the state will come up with a corrective action plan, and generally the jurisdictions will have up to 24 months to implement that corrective action plan. And then if they are not successful in completing that corrective action plan, Cal Recycle has the ability to assess fines on the jurisdiction, and those are kind of categorized into 3 areas: minor, moderate, and major. And then as far as some industry trends, that in addition to the upward pressure on rates that SB 1383 is causing, there's also some industry trends that are causing upward pressure on prices. So we're still feeling the effects of China's sword. So a few years ago, China stopped accepting recyclables from the United States, and that caused a significant decrease in the market value of recyclables. And all waste haulers had used the revenue from those recyclables to offset their operating costs. So as a result, their net operating costs increased as a result of that action. And then also, because SB 1383 is requiring all jurisdictions to collect material that's currently going into the landfill, it needs to go someplace else. And it usually needs to go to either a composting facility or an anaerobic digestion facility. And those things are very capital intensive, and there's not enough capacity at the moment, but the state is kind of catching up in various areas. So some jurisdictions with smaller haulers don't have access to organics processing capacity. The other thing that's kind of interesting is that there's a driver shortage, and this is a really nationwide phenomenon. So most solid waste drivers stay in their job a long time, and what's interesting is that a lot of solid waste drivers are a little bit older, right? They're in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they're just, for some reason, they're having a hard time attracting like a 20-year-old, 25-year-old driver to drive a trash truck. So this is creating upward pressure on prices as well as these companies negotiate new union agreements in some cases. And then also just the cost of the supply chain. And the cost of steel has gone up, where a 3-yard bin maybe 3 or 4 years ago was $500 a unit. Now they're about $800 or $900 a unit. So this is causing upward pressure on prices. Even if we didn't have SB 1383, there'd be a lot of industry trends that are causing upward pressure on prices. So that's also coming into play on July 1st. So a little bit about the compliance history for the district. the district has been out of compliance with AB 939 and then also not in compliance with 1826. However, they are in compliance with AB 341 in that all the commercial businesses in the city are provided with commercial recycling service. So what Cal Recycle did as a result of the pandemic is they essentially offered all jurisdictions a grace period for the first year, even though SB 1383 was going to be implemented in January of 2022. They passed some special legislation that allows jurisdictions to have a one-year grace period. But the catch is if you apply for this one-year grace period, you kind of have to raise your hand and admit that you're out of compliance. So the district decided to do that, and as a result of doing that, the district has a compliance action plan that it is required to meet by Cal Recycle. So that's where we are today as far as compliance. And then just a little bit about the solid waste landscape in San Bernardino County. The county owns the landfills. They're operated by a company called Athens Services, which is the company that operates the transfer station. The tipping fees in the county are $59 a ton. There's a dump card that every resident receives, and they're charged $85.14 on the tax roll. And that's valid for 65 loads of ordinary residential waste or clean loads of flammable vegetation. And then also the self-haul permit that the district implemented recently that's going to go into effect on July 1st is similar to the self-haul permit being developed, or be similar to the county's self-haul permit. So finally, just a little bit about the contract history with CR&R. The district took the contract over from the county in 2011. The agreement was amended and restated in 2019. And then it was amended again in 2022. And the district is currently negotiating rates and fees with CR&R. And just as an overview of the agreement, it's helpful to think about it in three areas. There's services, and there's key terms, and there's rates. So the services is, as we described earlier, the single-family service, the two 64-gallon carts. Each person or each customer that subscribes to CR&R service also receives 2 on-call bulky item pickups per year, and each of those pickups can include up to 2 items. CR&R also has the exclusive right to provide commercial service to the businesses in the district, and it also provides roll-off service, both permanent and temporary roll-off service. The key terms of the agreement, it's a 10-year, what they call evergreen agreement. So every year, an additional year, unless either party notifies the other that they want to terminate the agreement adds 1 year every year, I think usually on July 1st. Each year, the rates are adjusted on July 1st based on a formula, which is based on the CPI. And then CR&R is required to submit periodic reports to the district. And then there's also some liquidated damages in the agreement, which are basically predetermined compensation to the jurisdiction if they fail to do certain things. So the next steps, after tonight's meeting, the board is going to consider the rates that have been negotiated between the district and CR&R. And because the commercial rates are going to be going up, although the residential rate, the main residential rate is going to stay the same. The 2-yard bin is going to go up to that $121, but the commercial rates are going to be going up on July 1st. So as a result, the district is going to need to go through the majority protest process of Prop 218. So what that'll entail is a notice going out to all property owners at the end of March. There'll likely be a public hearing in mid-May, and the new rates will be effective on July 1st. So the final changes to the billing rates and further information about the changes to the trash service will reach customers through various methods. There'll be an informational flyer. As I mentioned, there'll be a Prop 218 hearing. CR&R will include information in its billing inserts. There'll also be information provided via social media, the city's website, the district's virtual newsletter, and direct mail from the district. So that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so just a reminder, if you do have a question, you have to use the podium, just so we can get it on record. I do want to point out, this is the number one thing that we're asked, the dump cards are not going away. Everybody still gets to keep their dump card, and you'll still be able to self-haul your trash, recycling, and organics if you choose to. Because the county operates the transfer station, we can't dictate to them how they operate it. And therefore, they are going to require that now, if you're, raise your hand if you're a self-hauler in here. Yeah, okay. So right now, you can kind of just take everything all in one container, and then you know the process. What's going to happen is you will need to put it in the 3 separate containers according to the guidelines. And then when you go to the transfer station, you'll just have 3 drop-off points for that waste. And then just keep the receipt that they give you, because we're going to be required to do record keeping that shows that everybody is doing what they're supposed to do in compliance with SB 1383. And the way that we're going to do that is to collect a certain amount of receipts from self-haulers, just to show PowerCycle that we're making a good faith effort and making sure that our self-haulers are doing source separation and taking everything in the manner that's required to the transfer station. Okay, so you'll still get to use your dump card. Unfortunately, we are going to have to ask you to fill out a permit with the district. We're going to make it as easy as possible, as cheap as we possibly can, to recover our costs, because we have to recover the costs to gather those receipts from you and to make sure that you're going to the transfer station. It's just a reality of it. The county's doing the same thing. They just don't have the mechanism to do that tracking for us or even for their service areas, because, you know, they take care of Oak Hills still. And so Oak Hills has the dump pass, and they're going to have basically the same process we are. So we're modeling it after them. Whatever they say is going to happen at the transfer station, that's what we're going to do, because we don't operate that. And, you know, we're going to be very gracious about it. So we know a lot of people aren't here year round. So if you only have a handful of receipts, you're just going to simply say, oh, I was, you know, at my house in Idaho or any of the other places all the Californians are leaving for, and we'll just make a note on your account and we'll be done. And so that's kind of it for self-haulers. If you have any other questions, please use the microphone, because otherwise we don't get it into the record.
All right, I'm a self-hauler.
And can you just make sure the button's on? Is it?
There we
Thank you.
go. All right, I'm a self-hauler. When I go through, all they do is punch my card. Can you hear? Okay, I'm a self-hauler, so when you go to the station, they ask you if it's household, whatever, they just punch your card and send you on your way. You don't get a receipt.
That's right now. So starting July 1, that's when it's going to change, because the county's going to change their process at the transfer station, because they have to, because they're under the same orders that we are from CalRecycle. So they're going to have to provide the same receipt, or, you know, everything. They're going to have to do the same record keeping we do, and they're going to gather receipts. So they'll be issuing receipts.
Okay, second, if I want to opt out of this because I'm a self-hauler, bins, can I get bins, or is that something I got to use myself for recycling the different?
You can have incongruent service. So if you want to self-haul one type, but still want to have, let's say, a recycle cart at your house, you could do that. We just have to make sure that we have tracked it appropriately in our system, and so you just call us
Okay.
if you want to change it. And like, people's trash needs changed all the time. So during the holidays, I need an extra recycle bin. Amazon boxes.
All right, I have a couple questions here. You said for the card, it's 80, how much?
So the county assesses a fee on your tax rolls every year. It's like $86 and
It's 8514.
$85.14.
So it's 85.14 for our dump card.
Yes.
Then if you receive these bins, it's an additional $30.98.
Yes, and I can explain that. So our rates take into account that all of our residents, so this is residential trash only, not commercial.
Right.
Our rates take into account that you've already paid for the disposal costs on your tax rolls. So when you look at the cost for service, there's no disposal component for residential residential rates.
But you're still gonna get the $30.98 on top of the $83.
We don't get the
Well,
83.
You're still gonna be charged, we are still gonna be charged the $30.98 on top of the $83 if we opt to take these 3 trash cans.
That's correct, yeah. And so our rate is based on that disposal cost has already been paid for on your tax roll. So when CR&R takes residential waste to the transfer station, they don't have to pay a tipping fee there because you've already paid it for them on your tax rolls.
Okay, that's one question. Next one is about the bins. The bins, there was a rumor that the bins will be gone from residentials, or no?
No, yeah,
Okay, so the
so
bins
just,
will-
yeah, just for clarity, bins, whenever we say bins, we're talking about what we call dumpsters, right? No, you can still have a bin if you have that much trash. The only thing is standard bin service in order to comply with SB 1383 and 939 is you will have a recycle cart and an organics cart put next to the bin. Because you're not going to need 3 giant bins, right? You're just going to need your 1 trash bin. And the thing is I think once you start recycling, you might realize maybe you could just have 2 trash carts and 1 recycle cart and 1 organics cart, so.
Okay, now the organics, I compost.
Okay.
Okay, so there's organics.
Then you're covered, so you're gonna just let me know that you don't have organics because you compost all of your organics.
Right.
And then what
And
we'll do.
aluminum.
Yeah,
Aluminum and plastic, I recycle.
yeah, so
because
that doesn't need
there's-
to go in there.
We're not getting anything back when we give you our recycles that we already paid for when we go to Stater Brothers.
Correct, you
right?
should definitely return those. There's a
Yes.
new facility in town. Take it there, take it wherever you take it, you know.
So we can opt out of this 3-cart thing that, right?
You can opt out of up to 2 of them.
Up to 2.
Yeah, you have to have trash service or haul to the, okay, let me restart. You have to dispose of your trash, right?
Right.
Okay. You can't burn your trash. You can get a burn permit for some yard waste certain times of year. You're not allowed to burn trash. Okay, I'll have to contact MDAQMD, but my understanding is you can't burn trash. But back to this.
Okay.
So let's just say you don't like going to the dump, right?
I self-haul.
Oh, you do self-haul?
Yes.
Okay, so this isn't even an issue.
That's what I'm saying. I can opt out of the 3 cans.
You don't have to have that. If you self-haul, I just talked about this.
Okay.
So I thought you had a separate question. Yeah,
No,
you
no,
can
no.
self-haul.
Okay, that
Yeah.
was my question. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay, just a couple of questions. Okay, what about cat litter and bones? That
That's
just goes in-
trash. Yeah, so,
Okay, because
yeah.
this stuff says no bones and, okay. so
no, we don't want bones in the green waste.
Right.
Yeah,
okay,
that would go in the trash.
just goes in the trash. Okay,
Yeah.
now, we all have seen what's happened with the heavy rains that we've had and the snow and then more rains. And there's a lot of roads out here. I'm sure you can testify to this. Okay. There's a lot of non-maintained county roads. And if we're gonna have 3 trucks going down these non-maintained county roads, some of them, these people need 4-wheel drives to get to their house. How are you gonna get the trucks in there? Is the state gonna reimburse the county for grading roads? Who's gonna take care of the roads? I'm thinking that's a good question, isn't
The
it?
county doesn't take care of the roads, so just.
Well,
we've been doing-
how are you gonna get your trucks in some
Same
of
way
these
I've been doing
places?
it for 30 years, the best I can. Most of all areas, I reach every area currently. With the snow, with the mud, we get out there and do it.
Okay.
There may be a delay in service,
All right.
but we'll make it there.
That was a question I had, and I thought it was a good one after this year.
Oh, it is, yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, thank you.
I self-haul. And I called you, Kim, and I asked you what it's going to do to me, because I only go to the dump once every 3 weeks. And I have been separating things for the ease of myself hauling them in my car. because there just isn't that much. So I'm still going to have to try and separate everything. Okay, and food waste, I have very little of that. I mean, you should hold your breath waiting, because I just don't. So when you go to the dump, are they going to say, okay, how much of this, how much of that?
Yeah, so if you use your pass, it'll allow you to just continue to use your pass, right, at the transfer station. You just have to make sure you put the right type of trash or recycling or organics in the right pile. And we don't monitor that, the county will. I don't know, what level of enforcement they're gonna do on site.
So they still haven't decided that.
The county, no, they know that they are going to be collecting all three waste streams there for salt haulers. I just don't know exactly, if they're gonna have somebody there saying, hey, there's a banana peel in your trash, move it. I don't know what level they're getting to. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's not like that.
Not
Yeah.
And I mean, it's when they do this receipt that you're talking about, that we have to keep. Is it going to be near, there's going to be so much of this, so much of that, and so much? How are we going to weigh it?
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna operate it. I think what would suffice for the district would be a receipt that you went there. And because I don't have jurisdiction over the county, I'm gonna assume that they're doing the right thing by Cal Recycle. So if you just have the receipt that says that you went there, yeah, you should be fine. But, we have a lot of playing it by ear when we first start this, and there's still unknowns with the county that we're working through. So, we're gonna have another meeting May 20th on a Saturday. So we're trying to get everybody to be able to come to one of these, and I'm hoping to have a little bit more clarity on how they're gonna be operating the transfer station.
Okay, well, who's going to be operating the transfer station, just for my?
That's the county of San Bernardino. The county owns the transfer station, and then they have a contractor that they hired, Athens Services.
Oh, I see, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very
Oh,
much.
you're welcome. Yeah, just a reminder, if you have a comment, come on up and use the microphone.
So, I don't know if you know the future of Athens, but they went to jail for 5 years for paying off an official in LA County. Do you guys know that part?
No, we don't have any agreements with Athens.
Well, who's going to be in charge of the distribution center where the trash is?
That's the county of San
So
Bernardino.
who's going to get the contract? That's what I want to know.
I don't have anything to do with what the county does.
So my question is, can you still dump your own trash?
Yes.
You will get a card.
Yes. You missed the first part of the meeting. Yeah. You're gonna have a dump card. You can still use it.
So you're not forced to have a trash can or pay for a trash can at your house?
No, you will have to have a permit through us because of the record keeping we have to do. We're gonna make it very easy, and you're gonna have to keep your receipts. So if we ask you for them, you have them, so we know that you went.
That's why we pay our taxes, right? Correct?
Correct, yeah, you pay for your dump card on your tax
Who's
rolls.
going to get the contract? Because I know how Athens is, and I know they went to jail for 5 years for fraud in LA County.
So I recommend you contact Public Works at the County of San Bernardino.
Contact Public Works. Why don't we do it right here, where everybody's here, so everybody.
We're not the County of San Bernardino. We have no jurisdiction over
So
them.
who's in charge of the program here?
We're the Phelan Pinion Hills Community Services
You guys should be
District.
updated on what's going on, who is crooked, who is not crooked. Okay, and these people are innocent here. They have a home here. We don't dump trash in our desert. People that don't live here dump trash here. That's why you have the issue. And the disposal fees are so high that the contractors dump their shit all over the desert, and we shouldn't be accountable for any of that money. You understand?
If you have a question, ma'am, can you just come up to the podium?
Yeah, come on up. I said what I-
You, I can't hear you.
Okay. I live here locally and I've been in this desert for 52 years. Anyhow, my trash bill recently, in the last 5 years, went from $75 now up to $95. Okay. A little bit. With the water company, okay? I lived up here on the hillside. 8 years ago, we fought about the fact you wanted to cost more money, charge us more, for pumping uphill. Now, when you took over from the county, my bill had been $45 every other month. Now it's $64 a month. Is there any break for senior citizens on the trash or the water?
I don't know the particular legal code for that, but for property-related fees, they can't be unequal based on demographics.
Okay, and you're making this mandatory that we all have to have the trash,
Or
right?
you can self-haul, you just have to, we have to do record keeping to know who's self-hauling.
Well, you have a monopoly here. There's nobody else that we can turn to, right?
Yeah, you either have to use CR&R if you don't want to self-haul, or
Okay.
you can take your trash still.
And when you formed the Phelan Pinion Hills Water Company or District Water, okay, now you bought the dairy farms out there, you put in solar, we were supposed to get breaks on water. No, it went up. It hasn't gone down. So when is there going to be a break?
So I can't answer the water side questions, but we do have some budget workshops coming up. So just check out our website and we'll have our finance team there, which can explain the water rates.
The trash, okay, it's increased because of the cost of fuel.
Right.
I didn't vote for him to go in and double our fuel bills, but we're being all charged for it and being made to buy this, or we're going to be penalized. So it's not fair.
I know. Well, I agree with you. I didn't come up with the law. I never thought when I started my career at the district over 10 years ago that I would be sitting here talking about food waste and source separation and the government, getting involved in how you dispose of your
Okay,
trash.
did PUC okay this thing to
The
go ahead and
PUC has
mandatory?
nothing to do with this. This is a state required law, SB 1383, that we collect organics.
I don't buy any of it.
Fine if you can buy the organic, but you shouldn't have to sort it out for them, because now you're doing the job so they can make 100% profit.
Yeah.
Not on us.
Yeah.
That doesn't work that way. And I think we should have a state auditor here
There's no
for that too.
I know. That's why everyone's leaving California.
No, it don't work that way. We're staying in California.
Yeah.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Kim. For those of you who know me or don't know me, my name's Tony. Been a resident of the community for about 36 years. And like you, I'm not happy with change, especially change that costs me money. I mean, who is? But I think you guys, if you haven't already done it, let me tell you, I have taken the time to go through and see the other town meetings that they've done online. A lot of the questions we're asking tonight, they've answered before. And so do that for yourself so you can get educated, because I think it'll help alleviate some of the anxiety associated with this. The other thing you need to understand is these guys are on our side, believe it or not. They're stuck in the middle of a rock and a hard place that you cannot begin to understand unless you go and read those 4 bills that have been posted. The state of California has put some real teeth behind this thing. And if they don't do what is mandated for them to do, Cal Recycling can fine them between $500 and $10,000 a day per infraction, depending on if it's level 1, level 2, level 3. Guess who pays that in the end? You and I will be paying that. So to sit here and try and stop this thing, we're wasting our time. It's gonna come through. I don't like it. I don't want it. But we don't have a choice. This has been mandated on high. If you want to point fingers, start at Sacramento. Honest to goodness, that's where the problem's at. These guys are our local people. These, Kim, and I've known Brett 30-something years. Kim, I tell you, go in and talk to her sometime. She does everything she can to help you and I manage this affair. Dave is a consultant. I was a consultant once. I don't really know you, so I can't speak one way or the other.
I'm a visitor here.
Except for what I've seen. And what I've seen is basically the district has hired his services to try and navigate all the difficulties here. Trust me when I say we need to work together to try and figure out how to help these people help us, because the state's not going to do it. They've got teeth behind this thing like you can't begin to understand. So the things that if you listen to what they're saying, the ability to self-haul, that we don't understand what the county is going to, those things are out of their hands. What we should be asking is, how can we help you help ourselves? And not really fight with them, but try and work with them. I know that's a really difficult ask right now. And I know some people, no matter what I say or anyone else says, you're just mad. I get it. But if we work together on this thing, we can minimize the impact to our community. One of the things that I heard tonight that was new to me is if the number of percentage of people go up who are using the services, possibly that'll aggregate the cost down. I'm a self-hauler. I'll probably always be a self-hauler. It's just my wife and I. We have a trash compactor. We do recycling. We do composting. So we're doing our part. Maybe that doesn't work for everybody, but so I want you to understand something. My reputation on the line when I say this. They're not our enemy. These people are trying to help us. Work with them, stop fighting them. Or what we're really doing is we're fighting with ourselves. So, and to that end, is there something more we as a community can be doing to help you would be my one question.
Yeah, we've had a few members of the community that have met directly with CalRecycle to talk about their concerns, and CalRecycle can explain the law in depth with them. So if you ever want a meeting with CalRecycle, they'll meet with you over the phone or Zoom or whatever, and they'll get into detail with you about what the requirements are. And, we had the option to say, too bad, so sad, you all have service, right? And we initially thought that the county wasn't going to work with us at all on a self-haul program. We thought dump card's going to go away. There's going to be no self-haul, because we had no idea what the county was going to be willing to work with us on in terms of a self-haul program. And we've been talking with them, and guess what? We get to keep our dump cards. It doesn't look like they're going to be raising the rate anytime soon on that dump pass fee. It hasn't been raised in 20 years, even though the cost of everything has gone up. And they're working on a way that's going to comply with CalRecycle's source separation requirements at the transfer stations. This is good news. I've been beating down Brent in corporate CR&R, because if you were at our first meeting, you saw that this proposed rate was almost $50 a month, which is what other people are paying in other areas. And, sorry, Brent, but, I did what I had to do, and I demanded a cost of service for the most common service type that didn't increase until we see what this looks like. Because to me, it wasn't appropriate that there was a rate increase based on so many unknowns. And so while the extra service rates are definitely going up, the most common cost of the most common type of service, which is the cart service for residential, is staying the same. While we're working on CalRecycle, I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you unless you come up to the podium. Do you have a comment? Okay, can you just use the podium? Okay, so that's kind of it. I mean, we're going to do another meeting May 20th. I'm hoping to have more information on what's the dump pass, what the dump, the self-haul permit looks like and the costs, as well as kind of how the transfer station is going to operate from the county. Now, also, Tony points out, and you made a mention about, illegal dumping. Whenever you come across an illegal dump site, please call county code enforcement. The more people that call, the faster it gets picked up. And if they do not respond to you in a satisfactory manner, call me. And I can assist you in trying to get that site cleaned up faster, because it is a problem out here. Contractors come in from Los Angeles side of the desert, and then they just dump over here.
If I'm going to have the 3 bins, and right now I have the 2 trash bins, but I don't need the 2, when do I give that one back?
They'll take it from you when we implement the service. And again, on July 1, suddenly everybody is not going to have 3 carts. That's logistically impossible. And we have supply chain issues and all sorts of, employee shortage issues. So we're going to be doing the rollout by route. And so when CR&R shows up to give you your recycle and your green cart, unless you've told us otherwise, we'll just take away the extra trash can.
Okay, because I usually only put out 1. So when I know the
other ones are coming, I could just leave that one out and say, take this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, am I understanding is the billing service gonna be with the district on July 1st, or is it still with CCNR?
So on July 1, we will be prepared to take over the billing, but again, we're going to roll it out in phases, so by route. And so once you are under the new service program, you'll get a bill from us. So just get a combined bill if you're a water customer, and if you're not our water customer, you'll just get a trash bill. And the reason being is Cal Recycle has some pretty onerous reporting requirements where we need to have quite a bit of data on hand at all times to provide to them should they ask for it.
Okay, so like the bill I pay to CCNR now is on a 3-month basis, so I pay 3 months in advance. So if you don't catch me on July 1st for my monthly bill,
Yes, this
then I've
is
already paid them for 3 months.
no, this is all stuff we're talking about. So there's definitely gonna be some credits, some balances owed that we're gonna inherit, and our wonderful accounting teams on both sides are gonna take care of that. That's way above my pay grade. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't
My trash man.
sleep at night right now because of this.
That
So.
person. Thank you.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Good.
Okay, so I just wanted to let everyone know that I have been part of a group of people that have been talking to Kim and to Brent and to Cal Recycle over the duration of like 6-ish months about this. In the beginning, we were like horrified that we were gonna, all of us self-haulers were gonna have to go over to paid trash service. We've, had a lot of communication with them, and we were fearful that we wouldn't get to this point, but I'm just here to say thank you very much. You've listened to us. You've heard what we had to say. We talked to Cal Recycle, and they heard what we had to say. And I know you guys had a meeting between when we did and now, and, I'm really happy we're getting to keep self-haul, and it sounds like a lot of you are too, so it's been a process, and it's been pretty good. So that's all I need.
I just have a question. If you're taking your leaves and prunings and weeds and stuff to the transfer station, is it just with your dump card, or is there an additional fee?
So your dump card the dump card is meant to take care of the health code requirement that you dispose of your trash at least once a week, right? So it gives you 64 uses a year. And so if you want to use it to take your leaves and all of that, you can. If you've used up all your punches, you can pay.
Okay, but you don't, like if I have a whole bunch of, because we're trimming now, I have a whole bunch of stuff, and we take it to the dump, we just give them the card. We don't have to pay another fee for the leaves and that, do we?
No, I don't think so. If it's like normal property waste, that's fine. Landscape clearing, like rocks and dirt, they're not going to take. You'll have to pay for that.
No.
But your dump pass, every year when you get it in the mail, it has like a blurb at the bottom of what it can be used for. And so,
I just wanted to make sure on that, because I got lots of leaves right now. They have to go to the dump.
Okay, one more question here. Okay, if I just want to keep hauling and I don't want the cans, I have to get a permit. Okay, when are the permits coming out? Because I go to Alaska for the whole summer, and I won't be here if you send them in June. So when is this going to be sent out?
we're hoping to start sending it out probably in May. And if we don't hear from you, or if you just want to give me are you a water customer of ours? Or are you Sheep Creek? Yeah, just call, let me know, and I'll just put a flag on your account that you're in Alaska. So if we don't hear from you, basically how we're envisioning it is before your route is going to have the new service delivered, we're going to mail you a form, easy form, and it's just going to say, you're going to be given the 3-cart service unless you tell us otherwise. And so you'll tell us otherwise, or it'll be a box, I would like to self-haul. And so then we'll put that into the system. And so then that way you aren't given the 3-cart system if you're going to self-haul.
Okay.
Okay, so just communicate with us about anything, like even your water bill. If there's ever a question or whatever, just call us. We're happy to assist.
All right, thank you.
I have a question on the record keeping, because you say we're going to be getting a receipt from the transfer station. And then you said something about you want us to give them to you if you ask us for them. And so how many years do we have to hang on to these receipts in case you ask us for them?
It'll be by a calendar year. So if you weren't chosen for an audit of your receipts, then just toss them after a year. Yeah. And I am the solid waste person here. I'm not like a nameless, faceless person behind a curtain. Me and Linda, raise your hand, Linda. This is us. Like, we're not, mean, evil people. We're normal human beings. Live in the desert, lived over here for a long time. And we want to help you. Like, our goal is not to make this punitive or difficult. So just call us. Hi, Peter.
Hello. So I had a couple questions. At the last meeting, some of the self-haul things, we were waiting to hear from the county on what they would do. So I just wanted to confirm, we're definitely going to be able to take our compost, our organic waste to the transfer station, right? Not somewhere else?
Correct. Yes, they're going to take all 3 waste streams there.
Okay. But they're not, we don't know much about what record keeping they're going to do, if any at all.
They told me in my last meeting with them that the way their system works right now, it just, the farthest down that it goes is area, Phelan. So it won't say Peter Barnes or anything. That's not the type of record keeping that they can really do there without bogging everything up, right?
Track my car.
I know, but what if it's like, you borrowed it from somebody or whatever, so. But they don't enter into like the system. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But so we don't know if they're going to be weighing the trash, the recycling, the organics.
I don't know what they're going to do there. All I know is I just need a receipt that says that you are getting rid of your waste somehow. And if you're doing it in a manner at the transfer station that works with the county, which is going to be compliant with Power Cycle, that's going to be good enough.
Okay. And then I wanted to echo another question. Is it going to be possible for us to get bins for us to take there? Like, well, how would that work? If we're self-hauling?
Oh, no, you have to provide your own.
Provide our own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to self-haul, whatever container you choose to use, just make sure you cover your loads before you go to the transfer station or they'll turn you away.
I'm still thinking about getting the little bins.
Oh, yeah, if you want to have, we're working on some funding to get the little countertop food waste bins for those who want to do that. And then also we're going to do some big tumbler composter raffles. We have a lot of composters out here.
Hi. I just have 2 comments. Wouldn't it be sufficient and easy for when self-haulers go to the dump to just go ahead and keep track, like on a computer system?
That's what I thought, but apparently the county says they can't do it. So I'm still in negotiation with them on this. I don't know why they can't upgrade their system to do that. Because I would much rather say, hey, can you send me the monthly records? And I don't know why they can't do that, but we don't operate the transfer station. The county doesn't. As much as I would love to, I can't tell them what to do.
And then, I don't know if this is silly or not, but what's the difference between us composting our organics, whereas a landfill is doing it?
Some people don't like composting. I composted for years. It brought mice and snakes and it was a lot of work.
And so are we still producing the menthol?
But
when we're composting?
The methanol?
I'm sorry.
Or methane? Yeah, methanol.
Yeah, not as much, I think.
Not as much.
Yeah, I think what makes it create methane is when they trap it without air.
Yeah. Landfill operations are slightly different than kind of home composting. We're gonna do, oh, sorry, one second. We're gonna take all of the in-person first, and then we'll move to the Zoom, okay?
Okay, if I'm self-hauling, can I not use, or do I not use plastic bags anymore? Because they won't know what's in the plastic bags.
I have no idea at this point, so I'll add that to my list of questions.
Because that's how I haul in the
Yeah.
back of my truck, it's in a plastic bag, but they can't see what's
Here's
in the
the other
plastic bag.
thing, the food waste is supposed to go separate into a plastic bag, so. I didn't come up with this. Please don't shoot me. This is not what I didn't come up with this. Yeah. In an ideal world, everything would go into one bin and robots and smart people would sort it all out where it's supposed to go without bags.
Hi, one question, the self-haulers are gonna get a card, like everybody's gonna get a card, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're charged for that. Okay, you keep saying that as we keep self-hauling right now, after this new law goes into effect, we're gonna get a receipt from the county. Every time I've been into the county and got a receipt for them, it costs me money. They're not gonna do this paperwork free. So is it gonna still cost us more money when we self-haul and get their receipts?
I can't imagine they're gonna charge to give a receipt because they're gonna have, they have a self-haul program for their service areas, so Johnson Valley, El Mirage, Oak Hills, Oak Springs Valley. The county still has jurisdiction over those self-haulers, and they are going to be asking for receipts from those self-haulers, so I will ask the county that, so come to the.
They're doing that much more paperwork. County doesn't do anything.
Come to the May 20th meeting, or just give me a call in a couple weeks, and then hopefully I'll have an answer from the county if they're gonna charge for receipt. I cannot imagine they're gonna charge for a receipt for something that they're gonna be requiring their own constituents to provide to them. That would just be crazy. And let me know if they are, and we'll talk to them. So we'll take a couple more in person, then we'll go to our Zoom.
This recycling. Okay, are we gonna have to recycle plastic?
Yes.
Okay, what about like now a Listerine bottle?
Yeah, as long as it's empty, that's recyclable.
Food containers that come in plastic.
Yes, as long as they're empty, they're recyclable.
Cat food cans.
Recyclable.
You want them clean or just?
Yeah, make sure your cat gets all the food out of it, like mine do.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So everything that has that little logo on it?
That little symbol on it is recyclable, yeah. Actually, you'd be surprised how much stuff is recyclable. All right, Amy, who do we have on Zoom? Andrea on Zoom, if you want to unmute yourself.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you for taking my call. Okay, so I'm a homeowner, and right now I have trash service. I have 2 containers. So I will be getting how many other carts?
So, if this is the basic service that you want, you'll have one trash, one recycling, and one organic. So they'll take away one trash cart, and then you'll get a recycling cart and organics cart. So 3 total.
And we have to have the other 2, the recycling.
Yes. Yeah, unless you're gonna self-haul those types of waste, you'll have to have those.
So if I self-haul those, can I still have the trash containers?
Yes, you can. We'll just need to have some proof that you're self-hauling those other types of waste. And as long as you only put trash in your trash can, you'll be fine.
Okay, and if I want to get in touch with you, Kim, what number do I call?
Just call the district office and they'll put you through to me. There's only a few of us in there. Just ask for me. So 760-868-1212.
Got it. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Cheryl Roden? You want to unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I don't know if you have your speakers on.
For some reason, Cheryl, maybe only those of us on Zoom can hear you.
I
Not
don't
really
know.
sure.
I couldn't hear Kim.
Oh, hold on, we got muted.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, I think we accidentally muted ourselves.
Go ahead.
Okay, just a couple of questions. We're going to have a 218 election on the same rates that we have now that will be in effect until 2024, and then there'll be a second 218 after you've done an analysis of the cost of service to adjust those if needed?
That's correct. Yeah, there's just too many variables right now to try to change the basic service rate.
Okay, and will we have the option, starting in July, to have pickup for some of our trash every 2 weeks? Or is everything going to be, for those of us with in-service, is it going to be weekly?
Yeah, the minimum is weekly, just because health code requires trash is picked up once a week.
Okay, and will we have walking bins like Wrightwood has?
No, we don't have bears. I know the ravens are just as bad as the bears sometimes, but no, we don't.
Can we get them? Is that possible? Or something to look into as a possibility? Because we do have bears, but not like Wrightwood does. But what we do have is lots of roaming dogs, and my trash is tipped almost weekly.
Yeah, and it's something that we can look into. We could work with the district on that and see if there's something that we could come up with a wind-proof or dog-proof bin.
Yeah, let us look into that. These bins haven't been delivered yet. Also, I understand some of people in the Oak Springs Valley area of our district and also up on the south side may get bears. I know I used to get bobcats.
Yeah, bears, cougars, but mostly roaming dogs is the biggest problem. And then just something, I know that the ordinance as you're proposing it has to be enforced, includes fines and the possibility of misdemeanor, which is jail time. And I really hope you could take a second look at that in terms of how you enforce, because I just think that steep fines are too much for something like this.
Yeah, I agree. So definitely if we notice that somebody's not doing the right thing, it's going to be education. Linda in the back is my enforcement officer. She's not going to be hauling anybody to jail. So,
illegal dumpers, fine, you can increase the fine on them and take them to jail. But the rest of us that get the banana peel in the wrong can, I hope they're reducing those fines from what they currently are in the ordinance that was passed last year.
yeah, we're supposed to have enforcement mechanisms in our ordinance. It is my goal to never, ever have to apply one of those to anybody here unless they're an extremely bad actor. If you're doing the wrong thing, we're going to call you. We're going to leave a tag. We're going to do everything we can just to, get you to be good. Yeah, always. And then if, let's just say it ever got to the point to where you got a notice of a fine, we have a whole administrative appeals process. So nobody goes to jail for robbing the grocery store for thousands of dollars. I mean, nobody's going to go to jail for putting a banana peel in the recycle bin.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you, Kim, for the work you've done on this. We've come a long way from where we started last year, and you've done a great job listening to folks and bringing this through to where we are now, which sounds like it's going to be really workable, and we'll go forward and see how it's going to turn out for the community.
All right, thank you. Amy, is there another one online? I don't have any more hands. Okay, anybody else here? All right, Deborah?
I just want to say thank you to Kim. Over my 4 years on the board, she was amazing. And with this one, she was amazing with dealing with all of us grumbling and even myself voting no on it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, again, the district is trying to minimize the effects of SB 1383 and 939 on the community while avoiding penalties from the state. And, we're normal human beings that, have lived here or live here and, just call us, please. Don't listen to Facebook trolls. We don't do business on Facebook. At 760-868-1212. And as many of the people in this room know, I will answer the phone and I will talk to you.
Okay, what about the food that we put down in the garbage disposal? Can we still do that?
So as you're aware, we are on septic out here. So if your septic system is capable of taking, volumes of food, by all means. I know mine didn't like it, but yeah.
So we can still do that?
Yeah, incidental food that goes in your garbage disposal, totally
Well, I
fine.
mean, you're cleaning your plates. And
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, just go ahead and do that. And that's good for your septic system anyway, to some degree, because it helps feed that bacteria and break down that waste, so.
Now, what about the tire recycling? We pay a lot of money for, and what's going to happen to that? Are they ever going to do anything?
Yeah, so we still offer free tire disposal 4 times a year. We just had an event. We collect about 8,000 tires a year, so I say that it's the tire is the desert plant, because they just kind of spring up out of nowhere. And people bring them in, so if you have tires, just give us a call or check your billing inserts or our website for the next event. You can bring up to 9 tires for free per event, and we'll take them from you.
Okay, thank you.
And we have a grant to help pay for those disposal costs. I'll also point out that I have a grant to pay for him, so you guys aren't paying for him.
Oh.
Also, I have another question too, because you said that they were coming once a week. Well, if you just have like this much in the bottom of a bin, do you need to haul it out there?
That's up to you.
But I mean, if you don't have your bins out, nothing's going to happen to you, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I couldn't think if you just had a little teeny bit, it wouldn't be much sense dragging it all the way out and the truck stopping and all that, So that's good to know, because we don't have a lot of trash.
Right, and like we had a gentleman here who said he's in Alaska, for several months at a time, and so he's not gonna have his bins out at all. Yeah.
I thought I wasn't gonna end up here. I have not been aware that any of this has been going on, but I came from a more suburban area, even though I was way on the outskirts in the middle of nowhere. We went through this in the early 90s. It was no big thing. In fact, what became a city made money on the recyclables and everything, and our bills actually went down somewhat. But I do have a question, and I wasn't in Norco, but I'm aware of Norco, and we got here late. Is animal waste in any context involved here? Because I mean, I take some
What
some
type of
growers
animal?
and, so I just want to know, because I know that became an issue in Norco. I understand.
We don't want your manure. However, we
Okay.
will take it. It's preferable if it's dried out. But like normal cat and dog waste in the trash. Brent?
I mean, I have fruit trees. We pretty much
Yeah.
absorb a lot, and a guy that's going to be taking over like 20 acres down the road, he has actually asked for it and everything.
You can, I consider that composting.
for it.
Please,
Okay.
please compost manure.
So I'm not going to be doing anything illegal if I continue.
No,
I mean, some of the
composting is
growers
fine.
became pot growers during COVID because they had no restaurants to sell things to, and I don't know if some of those are going to be going back in or not, but they used to take chicken manure, horse manure, steer manure. I had a key to their place,
That's
to drop it
preferable.
off.
Please continue.
Continue doing it.
Okay,
Continue.
that's the main reason I came tonight.
Yeah, because manure is super heavy with it, if it's wet, and then that impacts overall, tonnages and everything. So basically, we're looking at what's the difference between the amount of recycling tonnage that we took, to the transfer station versus the tonnage of trash. And so if we have a lot of heavy things in the trash, it skews our ratios. So we prefer no manure. But if you have to put it in there, you're allowed to. And we have one more on Zoom. Rebecca, you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Kim. Sorry I couldn't be there with you guys. But I
just wanted to make sure that we give props to Kim and thank you guys for being so patient during this process. She promised in the very beginning of our solid waste committee meetings that this was going to be better than we originally thought, and it is so much better than we originally thought. With the self-haul options, you know, the small permit fee that might be, you know, necessary. So, you know, and Kim is always 100% available for you guys. You know, she loves talking to you guys about all this stuff. She will take your phone calls. Thank you to all of our solid waste committee meeting members that always come, and you guys held on strong for this. So, and thank you everyone that's there that came out for the meeting. And I know we all look forward to May's meeting to finally get the rest of this stuff figured out. So
Yep.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you, Rebecca. And if you don't know her, she's the president of our board of directors. And again, I love talking trash, so just give me a call and we'll talk about it. And I understand like this isn't anything that anybody here wanted, but we're doing our best to make it as painless as possible. So again, 760-868-1212, ask for Kim, and I'll return your phone call or take the call if I'm in the office. All right, thank you. Is there anything else you guys want to say?
Does Cal Recycle have any comments? Is Kara still on the line? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, Kara, did you have anything?
I am still on the line. I want to thank everyone for the conversation tonight, and I especially want to echo the comments of appreciation to Kim, because she really has worked hard to design a program that really is the best for the residents of Huron, and yet still meeting the requirements. And I also want to express that this is a change. It's a change for all of us in California. And you know, for those of us who were used to just kind of self-hauling one big bag of stuff, you know, it does mean that we have to start separating out those recyclables and food waste and paper and green waste. And if you were already doing that, then there's no change for you. But, you know, we all have to do our part in California, and this really is making a difference. We're measuring the effect of, you know, the methane that's being released in the environment from our landfills, and this really is going to make a change. And each of us has an opportunity to play a part as Californians. And so, you know, I just thank this community. I thank you for your passion, for your commitment, for the beautiful community that you live in, and just for all you're doing. And I just thank Kim, because she really has lost a lot of sleep over this and hearing all of your comments, but she's come up with, I think, a beautiful program that you'll have some bumps along the way. But, you know, Cal Recycle is your partner in this as well. And I know we talked a lot about, you know, Cal Recycle enforcing and penalizing, but our goal is just like Kim's. You know, our goal is to only use enforcement for egregious situations. And we're not going to have this in this community. You are all, I think, ready and prepared to do your part. And for those of you already doing it, to continue as you have been. So, Kim, I just thank you. I thank the board for their leadership and commitment, and Dave for you helping the community. So, thanks so much.
Okay, I think we have one final comment, and then we'll let everybody go home at 8:15.
Question about the billing. If we have the water company plus we have the trash, is it two separate payments, one payment? How's that gonna be done? Because if you use like ATM, they charge you extra. So I was just trying to figure
Yeah,
out
you
how that
can
might
you can
work.
pay it all at one time.
So it can be a
Yeah.
one bill.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're gonna have a presentation at our next board meeting on our current payment options, by the way, and future payment options, hopefully. So trying to give you a variety of ways to pay. So I think that's it. I want to thank you all for being here this late on an evening, a weeknight, and then get our next one. So we cover people who work evenings or who couldn't be here during the middle of the day. We're going to do a Saturday at 10 a.m. That's May 20th. And so you'll see some information going out in your bills and on our website. Okay, thank you.